December 2010. A police officer searching for a missing woman along Gilgo Beach finds something far worse. 4 bodies, wrapped in burlap, buried in the bramble just off Ocean Parkway. They weren't looking for a serial killer, but they just found one. The press would call him the Craigslist Ripper. To understand how those bodies ended up there, we need to go back. Gilgo Beach sits along a remote stretch of Long Island's south shore, a narrow barrier island where Ocean Parkway runs for miles, through nothing but sand, scrub brush and silence. It's the kind of place where you could scream and no one would hear you. For years, women had been vanishing, sex workers who advertised on Craigslist, young women living on the margins. Nobody connected the disappearances. Nobody looked hard enough. By the end of this video, you'll understand how one man allegedly exploited that silence for over 30 years, and how a discarded pizza crust finally brought him down. The search that uncovered everything began with one woman, Shannon Gilbert. On May 1st, 2010, the 24-year-old escort made a panicked 911 call from a client's home in the gated community of Oak Beach, just minutes from Gilgo. She screamed that someone was trying to kill her. Then she ran into the night and disappeared. When police launched a search for Shannon months later, they didn't find her. Instead, a cadaver dog led Officer John Mallier to a stretch of brush along Ocean Parkway. There, wrapped in burlap sacking and spaced roughly 500 feet apart, were the remains of 4 women. Melissa Barthélemy, 24, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, 25, Megan Waterman, 22, Amber Lynn Costello, 27. All 4 had been sex workers who found clients on Craigslist. All 4 had vanished between 2007 and 2010. The press called them the Gilgo 4. But investigators would soon realize the body count didn't stop at 4. For years, the investigation went nowhere. Suffolk County Police Commissioner James Burke, who was later convicted of corruption and obstruction, actively resisted FBI involvement. Tips dried up, families begged for answers. But behind the scenes, a small task force kept working, and they kept circling back to one thing: burner phones. Whoever killed these women had used prepaid disposable phones to contact them through Craigslist, arrange meetings, and then, after the murders, taunt the victims' families. He called Melissa Barthélemy's teenage sister, whispered horrible things, then destroyed the phone. Each victim, a new burner. Each burner purchased with cash. But cell tower records don't forget. Investigators mapped the activation locations and cross-referenced them with billing records from every cell tower in the area. One number kept appearing in the overlap, a number belonging to a Massapequa Park resident. A man nobody had ever suspected. His name was Rex Heuermann, and he was a licensed architect with an office in Midtown Manhattan. Rex Heuermann was 6'4", heavy-set, unremarkable. He commuted to Manhattan every day, ate lunch alone, and returned to his cluttered colonial home on First Avenue in Massapequa Park. His wife, his 2 children. His neighbors called him quiet, maybe odd, but harmless. He was anything but. When investigators finally obtained a search warrant for his devices, what they found was staggering. Heuermann had been monitoring the Gilgo Beach investigation obsessively, reading every news article, tracking whether police were getting close. But that wasn't the worst of it. On his hard drive, investigators recovered a deleted Word document. Prosecutors call it the planning document. It contained body disposal checklists, reminders to remove heads and hands, notes on what he called playtime, and a section titled Things to Remember, lessons learned from previous kills to avoid getting caught. This wasn't a diary, it was a manual for murder, written by a man whose family slept 1 floor above him. On July 14, 2023, Rex Heuermann was arrested in Midtown Manhattan and charged with 3 murders. He pleaded not guilty, but the evidence kept mounting. In early 2023, investigators had obtained DNA from a pizza crust Heuermann discarded near his Manhattan office. It matched DNA found on the burlap used to wrap the Gilgo 4. By January 2024, a fourth charge followed, Maureen Brainard Barnes. Then prosecutors dropped the real bombshell. New DNA technology linked Heuermann to dismembered remains found miles away in Manorville, Jessica Taylor, who vanished in 2003, and Valerie Mack, missing since 2000. Their bodies had been cut apart to prevent identification, and then came Sandra Costia, killed in 1993. That pushes the alleged timeline back over 30 years, 7 murder charges, 3 decades. And here's what should unsettle you most. Investigators believe there may be more victims who haven't been found yet. The trial is set for September 2026. All 7 charges, 1 trial. The judge said it would happen, quote, "come hell or high water." Think back to that December morning in 2010. A police officer searching for Shannon Gilbert stumbles into the brush and finds 4 bodies wrapped in burlap. At the time, it looked like a sudden, terrible discovery, but now we know those bodies had been lying there for years. Placed carefully, deliberately, by a man who drove that same highway to work every single day. Rex Heuermann allegedly passed his own victims on his morning commute. He passed them on the way home to dinner with his family, and he did it in a county where the police commissioner was later jailed for corruption, in a system that treated missing sex workers as low-priority cases. But here's the final twist. In December 2025, police arrested a second man, Andrew Dykes, for the murders of 2 other victims found along the same stretch of highway. Gilgo Beach wasn't just one killer's dumping ground. It was a corridor of death, multiple predators, the same road, and a system that failed to catch any of them for decades. 7 charges, 30 years, and a stretch of highway that still holds secrets in its sand. When Rex Heuermann's trial begins this September, the world will finally hear the full story. But the hardest question isn't whether he did it. It's how many more are out there that we haven't found yet. The dark ledger has many pages, and the next one might be the one that keeps you up tonight.